The Chargers had their first dominating win of the season at the StubHub Center Sunday against the Buffalo Bills and rookie quarterback Nathan Peterman, who threw 5 interceptions in the first half in his first professional start at that position. For the San Diego Union-Tribune, he's columnist Kevin Acey. I'm Annie Heilbrunn. Kevin, what do you think about the Chargers not hanging around to the end this time, putting it away early?
Yeah, it was 10-7 early, and then the game was over. I know the final score was only 30 points difference, but look, it was the second most interceptions the Chargers have ever had in a game. Phillip Rivers played well. Melvin Gordon ran well. It went about as perfectly as it could go in terms of the pace of the game, the defense taking care of the offense, setting them up and scoring, and Phillip Rivers being protected and healthy as he was coming off of that concussion.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, final score 54-24. And the offense, Phillip Rivers, Keenan Allen, they finally got into that rhythm that they've been looking for this whole season. Phillip saying that he was finally glad that the team put up more than 25 points. That's something that's been eating away at him. And you mentioned the concussion. In the post-game press conference, he said he wasn't sure about self-reporting, but then he said he was sitting with his wife. He saw his 8 babies around him, and he said, why not? Why not be prudent about this? Obviously the right choice.
He really went back and forth on it because, you know, this was his 195th game in a row, counting postseason and regular season. It's a streak that's very important to him. But he knew it was the right thing to do. And what I'll say about that is that's different than a lot of players. For all of the focus on head trauma and the guy's brains, a lot of them would rather get, dinged, in their words, than have a debilitating knee injury. Phillip Rivers knew once he put this in the hands of the doctors, there was a chance they weren't going to clear him to play. But he felt good, and he felt good about his chances to play. And like you mentioned, it was the right thing to do for his future.
Absolutely. All right, they did beat a Bills team that, not to take away from the Chargers, but looked not playoff worthy as maybe they seemed to look earlier in the season. Where does this leave this Chargers team in this AFC West that looks like it's totally up in the air right now?
The AFC West and the entire AFC, what you can say is it hasn't run away from the Chargers. That's really all you can say. As Phillip Rivers said a minute ago, maybe it just set it up for an even greater comeback. 0-4 to the playoffs. The Chargers played really well. Their defense is really coming on. If Keenan Allen, which you figured he would, if Keenan Allen and Phillip Rivers are going to start hooking up, look, they go to Dallas. They've got 2 home games after that. The schedule's somewhat favorable.
All right, I would be remiss not to mention that since we've been talking about the crowds at StubHub all season, this was the first time it was not a sellout crowd here at the StubHub Center, about 25,000 people, and not a ton of Bills fans, although there were some.
And that really was the issue. There weren't as many Bills fans as Eagles fans, as Chiefs fans, as Broncos fans, and their team was out of it early. This was a typical LA crowd. I don't know that it had too much to do with the Chargers that you could rip, oh, look, the Chargers don't have support. Their team was in a blowout, and the crowd was half interested.
Exactly. All right, the Chargers travel to Dallas to face the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. As Phillip Rivers said, besides a playoff game, this is about as big as it gets.